that like button right now so you don't forget. Also, hit that notification bell if you want notifications whenever I have new uploads. Hope you guys are having a great week. And I wasn't going to do a video because I've been having a little bit of a hard time this week trying to get everything I need to get done and not feeling well. But we have some new information on Cupcake, and I wanted to get that out to you guys that subscribe to me for that information. And let me tell you guys, this is not great news that we're going to be hearing today. So the remains of Kamille McKinney tested positive for methamphetamine and trazodone, an antidepressant used to treat insomnia. It's saying here that after she was found, which was 10 days after her abduction, according to the testimony Tuesday in the Jefferson County courtroom, a testimony was revealed in the preliminary hearing for Patrick Devon Stallworth, one of the two suspects in the abduction, and, you know, the reason why Cupcake is no longer here. If you remember, guys, they were going to take them to trial together, but they decided to separate them, which you'll also say later on probably. So Stallworth and his girlfriend, 29-year-old Derek Arisha Brown, if I can get that out, are charged with capital murder of a child under the age of 14. And if the two are convicted, both will face the death penalty. The Circuit Judge Clyde Jones is presiding over these cases. Initially, Jones ruled Stallworth and Brown's preliminary hearings, here we go, would be held jointly, but later separated them. Brown will appear in court on Friday. The case is being prosecuted by District Attorney Danny Carr and Assistant District Attorneys Misty Reynolds and Peyton Neal Zarzor. Hope I said that correctly. Now, this must have been interesting because the family members for both Kamille and Stallworth were in that courtroom. And according to testimony and questioning by Stallworth's defense attorney, indicated that Stallworth had told detectives that he had nothing to do with the abduction or the fact that Cupcake is no longer here. Instead, Stallworth's attorney indicated Brown was solely responsible, and Stallworth lied because of his love for Brown. Now, Collins has previously said Brown has made statements implicating Stallworth, and it was disclosed Tuesday that it was Brown who told detectives where Kamille's was and found. So, which we all kind of suspected that she was making this plea deal. And I'm not certain, but I feel like this is why they are being tried separately now. So, during the 2.5 hour of testimony Tuesday, the lead homicide detective, Jonathan Ross, chronicled the actions of Stallworth and Brown on that Saturday leading up to Cupcake's disappearance later that night. This includes the newly released information that Stallworth borrowed $18.91 worth of candy at the Shell station, near Tom Brown Village. And if you check out my other videos, I kind of suspected, and I think several of us did, that that's what he was doing there. But phone records put on Stallworth, phone records put Stallworth at Tom Brown Village at the time that Cupcakes was seen on surveillance camera talking to those two men and abducted. So it was Stallworth who had a prescription for trazodone as well. Now, they are saying the night of the abduction, testimony showed Stallworth went to a convenience store near his home to buy energy drink. And this, what I have to say, I don't know if I can say this, but I'm going to try it. And it was a pill for erectile dysfunction, which is not something we were hoping to hear. Now, this is even harder to hear, guys. So 5 minutes after buying that candy, two preteen girls were leaving cheerleading practice from Hayes K through 8. When the two approached, I guess they're saying Stallworth and Brown approached them in a blue SUV, Ross said. One of the girls, age 11, said Stallworth told her, quote, "I'm looking for a girl that looks just like you," end quote, Ross testified. The girls said the man offered them candy. They became apprehensive, and the other girl said, quote, "Let's go," end quote. Luckily, there was a security video from Hayes to back up their story, but it was not close enough to show the occupants. The girls described the female with the male as dark-skinned and chunky. Other children told police a man in a vehicle that matched Stallworth's SUV was giving out candy in the housing community, and that Kamille got into the vehicle with them. Quote, she was crying, end quote. Ross testified the 10-year-old boy told them. Okay, so police began searching for Kamille that night. After hearing the story from the girls leaving the cheerleading practice, detectives began to canvass the businesses around Tom Brown Village and search for additional video evidence. It was the Shell station. They retrieved surveillance video of the blue SUV, later determined to be a Toyota, and pulling up to the gas pumps. A man later identified Stallworth entered the store where he bought $18, about $19 worth of candy. And that was approximately around 12:02 p.m. the same day that Cupcake went missing. So it was 12:07 p.m. that they approached the cheerleaders. So the Shell video provided the first images of the possible suspect, which were quickly sent out to the media, and Stallworth was identified through tips provided to the Birmingham police. So once he was identified, investigators went to Brown's apartment in Centerpoint Woodside condominiums on Shadowwood Drive off the Centerpoint Parkway. Stallworth and Brown both were detained, and the SUV recovered about 8 p.m. that Sunday. Stallworth consented to a search on his phone. Okay, this is mistyped here. Sorry, guys. They're saying that Stallworth consented to a search on his phone, on which investigators say they found, I think they meant to say found child images, though none of the images were of Cupcake. So Stallworth was charged with multiple counts of possession of child images and later released from jail on bond, which made no sense. So before he was released, Stallworth was interviewed 3 times by detectives. Initially, Stallworth denied knowing anything about Cupcake's disappearance, but did admit to approaching the 2 preteens near the middle school. He also admitted that he had bought candy at the Shell and admitted that he was at the Tom Brown Village. And he admitted that it was Saturday night. However, Stallworth said that he saw a group of young children playing with a mouse trap and told them they shouldn't be doing that. And then he said he walked away. Ross testified that they found on the video a man, get this right here. Ross testified that they found on the video that showing a man talking to 2 small children. One of them were Kamille, who followed them out of view on the camera. Ross testified that Stallworth said that he and Brown had been together all day. Stallworth said that after they left the Tom Brown Village, the pair went to Jet Pep on Centerpoint Parkway. Store video confirmed that they had been there. They went home, and Stallworth later went back out to Chevron, where he bought the energy drink and the pill for sexual dysfunction, Ross testified. Ross said the tracking of Stallworth's phone showed a lot of movement between Woodside condominiums and Parkway Villa apartments, which are adjacent to the Woodside and have a warm pathway in a wooded area between the 2 complexes. Ross later indicated that it was Brown who pointed them to the construction trash dumpster. And this was the dumpster at the Parkway Villas, which is mostly vacant in the search for Kamille. That dumpster was taken to a landfill and examined by a specially trained team of FBI agents who recovered Kamille's decomposed remains on October 22nd. So an autopsy was conducted by the Jefferson County Coroner's Office, showed that Cupcake had died of asphyxiation by suffocation. As well, this exam also turned up toxic levels of methamphetamine and trazodone. This means that she had ingested the drugs and not only been exposed to them. So following the discovery of cupcake. Stallworth was arrested again, and both he and Brown were charged with capital murder of child under the age of 14. And after his arrest, Stallworth summoned detectives to the jail, saying he wanted to talk to them again, Ross said. So in that interview, Stallworth admitted the first time to seeing Cupcake on the night of her abduction. Stallworth said that he walked into the couple's apartment and saw his girlfriend sitting on the couch with Cupcake and said, quote, "That's not your child," end quote. He said Brown indicated that she wanted to keep Kamille and suggests Stallworth do something sexual to the child. Stallworth said he refused and went outside to smoke a cigarette. Later, Stallworth said, quote, "Brown put her hands over Cupcake's nose and mouth," end quote. He described to the detective that Kamille was then asleep. Stallworth also said Brown had removed the girl's hair bows and clothes and given her a bath. Stallworth said the next thing he remembered was waking up in the bed the following day with Brown next to him. Testimony also showed that the investigators removed the plastic covering from the mattress that was in the living room. That covering showed DNA or residue in several places, and testing of that showed a mixture of DNA belonging to Stallworth, Brown, and Kamille. Stallworth's attorney called into question the credibility of some of the state's witnesses in the case, primarily the young children whose testimony differed somewhat from what the testimony presented by the state. Some other children, Collins pointed out, had mentioned the presence of a white male and a white female near Tom Brown Village on the night of the abduction. That DNA evidence, though, guys. Anyways, Collins also said they had witnesses saying there were multiple adults, black and white, who were switching cars in the parking lot near Tom Brown Village. One of the vehicles included the blue SUV, and we remember hearing that on the witness tape that we had on one of our older videos. So Stallworth, according to his attorney, said Brown used methamphetamine and his trazodone together because he liked the way it made her feel. He said Brown had been stealing his trazodone and said that Stallworth did not use the meth, only marijuana. Stallworth told detectives he believed Brown was using meth on the day of the abduction because she was talking a lot. Prosecutors said it was only after Kamille was found in that dump that Stallworth admitted to knowing anything about the girl's abduction and that he had lied during the previous 3 interviews with detectives. Collins said Stallworth lied because he loved Brown and couldn't believe she would do that to a child. Please. Do you guys believe that? Please leave comments below. I think he's just trying to do what he does best, manipulate and lie. Now, I'm not going to go over the details that are written here, but I'm going to tell you right now they swabbed Cupcake in every area to find no sign of sexual assault. But at the same time, the condition that she was in, it was difficult to tell if anything was ever done. So defense argued that the state had not proved enough probable cause to process with the capital murder against Stallworth. However, Jones found otherwise and sent the case to a grand jury for an indictment consideration. Thank Jesus. Alright guys, so that's an article. It's more detailed than what I'm reading, but I tried not to disgrace the child too badly any more than when she's already been disgraced. But I'm glad they are sharing it, for parents and the communities need to know what these kids are going through when these kind of things are happening. They need to know the reality of the situation. Parents need to be scared for their children's safety when they neglect them. So as you can see, guys, I did this in a quick hurry, so I'm not able to do very much with this video, and I probably made a few blunders there, here and there. But I'm just going to say that we kind of knew that he bought that candy at that store. We've heard the witness testimony when it come out, and the boy trying to describe what happened, and the lady kept interrupting him, so we really didn't get much from that. But it looks like he's trying to place the blame on her, and right now she's probably placing the blame on him, and it seems with the DNA testing that it is all three. So it's hard to say whether or not, because of what they're saying, she was assaulted, but the fact that they did find residue on the mattress most likely means yes. It's pretty windy here today, guys, so you might hear some wind blowing in the background. I'm not going to be able to edit any mistakes or anything, that's certain. But I wanted to make sure I got this out here for you guys who sub to me for this information. I do care about my people. I have 3 more videos that I'm trying to pull together, but with the holidays it's kind of difficult. Not to mention, you know, I have some health issues that kind of mess with me sometimes. But I'm fine, I just got to slow down during those times. So what I'm wanting to do is say that what this child went through, no child should ever endure. And if we can't really point fingers, but we can. And what I want to say is, if you're a parent of a child, take lessons from this story. Do not trust that your child's going to be okay, because this world we have a population, and we have people who are able to live in our neighborhoods that usually wouldn't live in our neighborhoods. And this causes more danger for your children. You've got to be more responsible, and you have to not trust like you do. You have to be a little bit more protective, and just don't do what happened with this story here. We have a responsibility, and that's why we're adults. And we make the right decisions because children cannot. And you know, I want to touch on this defense attorney. I mean, how can they do that for a living? Seriously, I mean, I know it's circumstantial, some of it, but come on, the pills, the candy, many witnesses and children, they don't always say, you know, how things happen perfectly, no matter what the situation is, but there's enough there to confirm what they were trying to say. And as a parent, if I had to sit in that courtroom and that was my child, I don't think I could sit there. I think I would also be behind jail bars. It must be very difficult for this family to sit there and listen to this and not lunge after him. I couldn't imagine ever going through what these people are going through, and my heart is breaking for them. So, but anyways, we do want to send out our prayers and thoughts to that family and for cupcakes. I definitely never want to see a story like this ever again. But sadly, the way this world is going, we might. But if we can educate our parents to be more aware and to be a little bit more protective, we can prevent at least a few of them. And as a community, we can watch out for each other. So don't be afraid to speak out. If you see something that you feel might be dangerous or could hurt somebody, or you see something, never ever be afraid to come forward. All right, guys, I'm sending you my love and my best wishes. And thank you for caring, guys. Thanks for helping me with this channel. And I'll see you guys soon.